because we certainly haven't seen a single shred of evidence that says he's guilty.
What's up, guys? True Crime King back. Alright, part 2 of Bryan Kohberger is innocent, question mark, by Crime Circus. Enough of you wanted to see the part 2, so I'm doing it. Here we go.
Allegedly, a microparticle of his father's DNA was found on a knife sheath, but from what I've read, the DNA testing is a bit flaky in this case.
Oh my god, here we go. Yeah, okay. The DNA, they matched it to his father's on a genealogy website. Then they went to his house in Pennsylvania and narrowed it down, got his DNA from his trash, and it's 100% Kohberger's. Bryan Kohberger's, not his father's. Okay? Jesus.
Apparently, they didn't find it.
And I just want to point out, Drip Drop was wrong. At first he thought Kohberger was the DoorDash driver, right? Then he thought there was visual snow that Kohberger couldn't have committed these crimes because of visual snow, right? Then he thought maybe Kohberger might have parachuted onto the third floor balcony, right? There's just so many things that Drip Drop has said that just are just way out there and just have been wrong. So I'm here to correct some of this stuff. And there's people out there that just are gonna believe whatever he says, no matter what. So to all of you that I can't change your minds, I guess you're sheep, right? Think for yourself, guys.
Any DNA on the knife sheath at first, and it was mailed to a third-party laboratory where they used some of their own patented technology to find a very small microparticle of Bryan Kohberger's father on that sheath. That will be contested.
Yeah, they didn't find anybody else's DNA on that sheath, right? And let me narrow it down. It wasn't just on the sheath, Mr. Drip Drop. It was underneath the button where you open the knife sheath, right? So it couldn't have just floated and landed on the sheath. And somebody, Bryan Kohberger, had to have put his finger and opened the sheath and took the knife out, okay? And nobody else's DNA was on it. So there's so many forensic expert armchair detectives out there that think they know all this crap. I mean, it's very simple. Bryan Kohberger's DNA was underneath the button, okay? I mean, and yeah, it will be brought up in court, and it's going to convict Kohberger. 100%. I'm calling it right now.
In court, and we just don't know one way or the other yet. And if somehow Bryan or his father's DNA is on that knife sheath, somebody else could have put it there before or after the crime.
Yeah, and a pig could fly over the house, too, right? I mean, come on, right? This is ridiculous now.
It's not exactly a smoking gun like some people might hope it is.
No, it pretty much, actually it is a smoking gun. It's a big gun. It's a big loaded double barrel shotgun is what it is, Mr. Drip.
I've been researching and investigating true crime for years.
Me too.
And I've seen plenty of cases where the DNA ends up being a red herring. I've seen a lot of Dateline episodes where the wrong person was convicted of faulty DNA, misplaced DNA, or straight up sabotaged, planted DNA.
Yeah, well, we're not talking about those cases, are we? We're talking about this case. The police did not plant that evidence there, okay? I mean, come on. we're throwing. It seems like he's trying to just make up anything that will, get Kohberger off of this. I don't know why. I don't know.
So we need more than a microparticle of DNA to say Bryan Kohberger's guilty. Bet. Moving right along, let's talk about the list of...
No. Once you put the whole picture together, it fits perfectly with Kohberger committing this crime, right? And there's not even another suspect, right? I mean, there's no evidence that points to anybody else in the whole world that could have done this but Bryan Kohberger. Nothing.
Cleared people. Moscow PD created a website where they were clearing people left and right within the first 24 hours, the first 48 hours, the first week. They were updating that site faster than I've seen any website ever updated in my entire life. How did they clear people so quickly during an active quadruple passing away investigation?
Maybe they had rock solid alibis. Maybe they were on camera somewhere. We don't know, you know. Obviously, the police did their due diligence. I mean, and the FBI and all the other agencies that were involved, I'm sure thoroughly went through any possible suspect and cleared them, right? But it's just so obvious once you put all of this stuff together that Kohberger is the one that did this. It's just obvious.
It was quite alarming how fast they were clearing people, but not exactly saying names, just dropping little clues, like the man from the grub truck video, or the private driver, and of course, the unknown male that Maddie and Kaylee were calling right before they passed away. Who was that unknown male?
Well, we don't know because there's a gag order. Drip.
Jack Decor, shout out. Now, if they were so quick to clear people, and they were wrong about so many other things, such as there being an Uber driver, the year of the white Hyundai Elantra.
Okay, like watch my previous video. They're human. Okay, they fixed it. Yeah, they said it once. They fixed it. All right. I mean, come on. They can say whatever they want to the public. It doesn't matter if they get things wrong. Whoever they send out there to speak to the public, right? But it's going to be a totally different animal in court.
The timeline, and so much more. Maybe they were wrong about Bryan Kohberger, too.
No.
And whether you like it or not,
No.
Bryan Kohberger has a position in this case. Whether he's involved, whether he did it alone, we don't know. But what we do know is when Bryan Kohberger and his father were pulled over in Indiana, that was the first thing they talked about, because the police decided to pull over Bryan on the exact same day that Bryan Kohberger passed away at the hands of SWAT team.
So what?
That's important. Just based on that alone, you can't say that's not an important piece to this case.
Yeah, I can. It just so happened that Bryan Kohberger did this on the same day they were tailing Kohberger. I mean, okay, so what?
How many people passed away at the hands of SWAT team in Pullman, Washington, and how often? It just so happened on the exact same day that Bryan Kohberger was pulled over. Twice. Boom, boom, boom.
Well, we don't know how many people. I mean, nobody pays attention to what the SWAT team does. The only reason we even know that Bryan Kohberger was killed by SWAT team was because it happened on the same day and right near where Kohberger did this massive stabbing of 4 people, and it's a national thing, right? I'm sure SWAT team is out there arresting people almost every single day. near Pullman, Washington. That's what they do.
Now I'm going to play you a short clip of a traffic stop video from 1 month prior to the passing aways in Moscow, Idaho. This is Bryan Kohberger being pulled over.
Hello. Sir. Yeah, there was a little bit of confusion with speeding because someone had stopped. I wasn't sure what they were doing, and then they put on their light to turn. Mm-hmm. So I thought that maybe they were letting me go through. Oh. Did you see that?
No. Mm-mm.
Yeah, like right before I...
Well, the cop didn't see that. Kohberger saw it, though. Why didn't the cop see it?
Made the turn, there was someone who made a right. They didn't have their, their signal on, so I wasn't sure if they were just waiting.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And real quick, I bet you a Drip Drop's gonna be like, oh, look how nice and polite Bryan Kohberger is. He can't be the serial killer because he's so nice and polite. And if he's, how many serial killers out, or killers, right? Sorry, I don't know why I'm saying serial. How many killers out there are nice and polite people, right? Chris Watts, Scott Peterson, Dennis Rader, all these killers until they get caught, right? And people know what they did. Until they got caught, they were nice, polite members of society with jobs and families and everything, right? They weren't just some monsters that everybody was like, oh, he's got to be a killer, right? They were normal people. Nobody knew. Nobody had a clue until they committed the crimes, right? You can't tell until people kill, So just because somebody is nice and polite before they kill doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, where I'm from Pennsylvania, we actually don't have like crosswalks.
Oh.
So even if you're kind of slightly, there's a little bit more leeway as well. Like there are a few lines. Like there's one white line and there's another one in front. Like there's like a certain margin from which you can actually kind of put your vehicle, place your vehicle.
As you can see in these clips, Bryan Kohberger is a very friendly gentleman.
Oh my.
He's very well spoken. He's polite. He seems like the type of guy that I would let walk my cat up and down the block. And maybe even cat sit for the night. Meow.
He said exactly what I thought he was going to say. It's just ridiculous now. I mean, come on. Just go, look at all of the killers in history, right? How many of them were just, that, could anybody tell that they were killers before they were killers, right? I mean, was Jodi Arias, a mean, crazy woman before she killed Travis, right? No. I mean...
Please leave me a comment down below. Does this seem like the type of psychopath that would commit the worst quadruple passing away in modern history 30 days after this body camera video?
Okay, and please leave me a comment. How many killers out there are mean people, and you can tell they're killers before they're killers, right? I just gave you all those examples. Did O.J. Simpson, was he, could you tell he was a killer before he killed? Come on, right? Come on.
If he's so unhinged and unstable, why is he being so polite with the police officer? The police officer even has a laminated cheat sheet just to give people tickets and take their money.
Because he's talking to a person of authority. He's talking to a police officer. Of course he's going to be nice. He doesn't want to get a ticket, right? And maybe Kohberger was nice. Who cares? Who cares? Killers are nice. But a lot of them are nice until they kill, right?
That's what they like to do in these small towns. Generate revenue. They like to give you tickets for little small infractions where nobody was injured and there were no victims. No victim, no crime.
She's doing her job. She's a police officer. She's writing a ticket. It happened. So what? I mean, I just don't like how Drip Drop is just trying to defend Kohberger, and he's not bringing up any of the evidence against Kohberger. He's just trying to point out evidence that will help Kohberger, right? I just don't get it at all. It seems like he's biased towards Kohberger not being the killer, right? He's not, it doesn't seem to me like he's following the evidence, right? Like I'm doing, you know? If there was any other evidence that pointed to anybody else, I would be talking about it. But there's not, okay? There's not.
Apparently he either was or wasn't wearing a seatbelt, and he either did or didn't go a little too far into the intersection to take a turn. Ladies and gentlemen, we've all done that. That doesn't make...
Yeah, and I've been pulled over for it, too. Okay, it's a cop doing their job.
...us quadruple passing awayers. And as you can see in this video, his car is squeaky clean. So if his car is squeaky clean 1 month prior to the passing aways, why wasn't his car squeaky clean in Indiana?
1 month before? His car could have got dirty 2 hours before this body cam was taken. What do you mean, Drip? You're not even making any sense anymore. I mean, seriously. Am I just losing it here, or what? I mean, please, put that in the comments. I mean, what is going on here?
Don't you think it would have been really clean, and it would have been his obsession to make sure nothing was on it or to draw any attention from law enforcement? The claim has been made that Bryan Kohberger was cleaning his car in Pennsylvania. It seems like it would have made a lot more sense for Bryan Kohberger to clean his car in Pullman, Washington.
Well, obviously he didn't, because it was dirty when he got pulled over on his way to Pennsylvania. Like, what?
During the entire month that he was waiting in Pullman, Washington as this investigation was taking place. I don't know about you out there watching this, but to me, that raises a green flag as opposed to a red flag. The green flag shows me that he might be innocent because apparently he didn't clean his car after the passing away. Not allegedly until he went to Pennsylvania, which doesn't really make sense to wait 6 weeks to clean your car. You'd think somebody would be cleaning it the same morning, or the next morning, or the next morning after that, or maybe even a week, 2 weeks, 3, 4, 5 weeks later. No, he allegedly cleaned his car 6 weeks later. Anyways, I've previously told you about numerology. Some of you laughed. Some of you weren't so convinced. Some of you were just confused. How come Ann Taylor, Bryan Kohberger's defense attorney, wanted the trial date to start November 22nd?
Your Honor, we'd ask the court to set this trial at the very outside of the speedy trial, right? We're not prepared to do anything but ask the court to do that today.
Okay. If we count it out, then that would be November.
I have not counted it out, Your Honor, but I believe that would be about November 22nd, this one's stipulated.
Check the date. November, that's 1-1. The 22nd, that's 2-2. 1122. That's where the crime took place. 1122 King Road.
Yeah, maybe Kohberger wanted it to start on that date because he committed the crime and he wants the numerology to keep going because he is the suspect. I mean, that just makes even more sense that Kohberger's the suspect.
Some of you might even call it 1122 Queen Road. Anyways, the defense team wants the trial to start November 22nd, 2023.
Okay, what's your point?
That's exactly 1 day after Bryan Kohberger's birthday, for those of you that didn't know.
So what?
His birth date is 1121.
So what?
Yeah, I've recorded and released 10 videos on Bryan Kohberger's guilt. Those videos have been based on me believing the folks in Idaho and Washington were on the up and up. But as I continue to research, I've been starting to wonder, is Bryan Kohberger actually innocent? Innocent people are arrested all the time.
Innocent people aren't arrested all the time. There are innocent people that do get arrested, yes. Okay?
Kathleen Zellner has single-handedly had 23 innocent, wrongfully convicted men released from prison. The Innocence Project exists all
Okay, yeah. Okay. I agree with that.
over the United States, saving wrongfully convicted, actually innocent prisoners from lengthy prison sentences all the time.
Yeah, okay. So what does it have to do with Bryan Kohberger?
So it's not exactly uncommon to be falsely arrested and accused of a crime. Alternatively, people go through trial all the time, and although most people are convicted, there's been plenty of times the jury comes back and says, not guilty.
So what are you trying to say, Trip? Are you saying that Kohberger's going to get convicted, and then he's going to get... So basically, you're really making it so you can be right no matter what. So even if, let's say, you're wrong on Kohberger being innocent and he does get convicted, and let's say later on down the line somehow he does get off, then you would be right that way too, right? But then you're saying that he might be guilty too. So really, you have like three stances here, right? So what is your official stance, Drip Drop? I mean, I know my stance.
Now let's very briefly discuss Ann Taylor. That's Bryan Kohberger's defense attorney. Have you noticed their chemistry in the courtroom? She seems to sit awfully close to him, and they smile at each other every chance they get. Do you think she has a crush on Bryan, or is she just being nice?
Maybe they just have good chemistry because they talk all the time because she's his lawyer, right? Who knows? I mean, I'm trying to understand what he's getting at with this too.
I sure would like to be a fly on the wall for their private conversations behind closed doors.
Yeah, they're talking about the case.
That's right. Attorneys and defendants get private conversation time, where nobody's allowed to listen or watch. People long speculated about Casey Anthony and Jose Baez.
That is totally different, okay? That's totally different. Now, I would believe that Casey Anthony had an affair with Jose Baez, 100%. Because she is just she's a monster in my opinion, and master manipulator. I mean, look at what she did. I don't even want to talk about her.
But I'm getting off track, so let's jump right back on track. As you can see in this recent court footage, Bryan Kohberger is wearing a suit, and he looks awfully sharp. He may even have gel in his hair.
He definitely does have gel in his hair. Not maybe.
He looks confident, composed. He looks like a man that knows the outcome of this case before any of us do. He may actually be innocent. He may be looking forward to being exonerated.
Okay, so we have Drip Drop saying he may be innocent. He may be guilty. And he may be falsely convicted. He may be, he may be convicted and then let go. He's covered every single possible scenario, right? So right now, there is no way that Drip Drop can be wrong. no matter what happens. So then he can make another video after the trial and say, look, I was right. You know? I mean, that's just not how I operate. I have done just as much research as Drip Drop, trust me. I've done a video on this case almost every day since the murders happened, okay? I've done plenty of research too, okay? And I don't think there's anything fishy going on. I think the cops, they put out some wrong information sometimes to the public, then they corrected it, okay? There's a gag order. They can only say so much, okay? They didn't plant any evidence, as far as I'm concerned. There's no evidence at all to say you can't. How can you even say that they planted evidence when you don't have any evidence to even suggest that? That is ludicrous in my opinion.
He may know a little secret about this case that nobody else does. He may know that he's going home within the next 6 months, because maybe he didn't actually do it. Why is he so smiley in the courtroom? Specifically only for his attorney.
Maybe he is just a crazy killer and he likes the attention. He knows he's on camera and he knows he is now a national figure, right?
He won't look us in the eye through the camera lens. And him and his attorney do not want cameras in the courtroom.
Kohberger knows he is going down in history no matter what now. No matter what.
Because they know that we speculate way too much on the internet, and we often get it wrong. Apparently they need some more time for Bryan to figure out his alibi.
I don't know who we is, because I don't often get it wrong. I mean, maybe you do.
And that's just fine and dandy. We'll give him all the time he needs because it's super important to have a really good alibi when you're accused of a quadruple passing. He may be just as confused as all of us.
I don't think he is at all.
But he seems to be in good spirits. We haven't seen any more shaving cuts on his face. So I guess he's adapting to the tools that he's been given quite well. And I probably wouldn't want any cameras in the courtroom dissecting my every blink, if I blinked, my every facial expression, and to me smiling at my attorney if I smiled. I just wouldn't want that. That would make me a little extra.
Alright, all he does for the rest of the video is do this and ramble and not say anything important. So, we're at 28 minutes now. I went 8 minutes over my 20-minute usual limit, but I wanted to get in everything for you guys. I know there's going to be a lot of haters out there that, whatever Drip Drop says has to be true. Give me a break. Come on. It's ridiculous. You guys, you're smart. You make up your own mind. Follow the evidence yourself, and then let me know in the comments what you guys think. But at least I'm giving what I think, and I'm not giving 4 different possible scenarios just in case, right? I'm sticking to my guns. I'm saying Bryan Kohberger right now is going to be found guilty, okay? That's what I think. That's what I believe. That's what, after all the videos, all the research I've done so far, that and all the evidence that is out there that we know of, that is the conclusion that I have come to, okay? Drip Drop seems to keep going back and forth, and he seems to leave room just in case for every scenario, which I don't believe in. It's just ridiculous in my opinion. You just say what you feel, Drip. I mean, you know, I get it. He's probably, he doesn't want to. You know, some of his audience thinks he's innocent. Some of his audience thinks he's guilty. So he's gonna get more views and more likes if he doesn't make an opinion, right? But to me, I don't care. I tell you how I feel. You guys know that, and that's what I'm doing. So can't wait to hear from all you haters out there. But I know I have a lot of supporters out there as well. So I can't wait to hear from you guys too. And until then, True Crime King out.